Let's talk a little bit about Jordan Love, because Bart Scott is back here with me. Mike Tannenbaum is joining us here as well, and there's Robert Griffin III. Okay, let's go to Mike T first, because if you have an ear, Mike Tannenbaum will tell you how much he loves Jordan Love, and this is going to be no different. And so, Mike Tannenbaum, I know you love Jordan Love, but do you believe that he is a top 5 quarterback already?
Yes, and if the four of us were starting a team tomorrow and we had to throw out Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love would be the quarterback that would be the best quarterback to take for the next 10 years. And you guys just showed the highlights of the Dallas game. That was no fluke. Let's go back over the last 9 weeks of the season, guys. 7-2, 21 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. And here's the scary part. They're going to be better this year because they were so young. When we talk about Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, and then you look at Luke Musgrave, and what did they do? They went out and added a great young running back in Josh Jacobs. The only question about this team was that left tackle, David Bakhtiari, has been in and out of the lineup the last couple of years. They drafted Jordan Morgan, who to me is a starting left tackle. I thought when you really watched Jordan Love last year, guys, I thought he processed incredibly well pre-snap. He knew where he was going with the ball. He was accurate. And when you can do that at 6'4" and to be as athletic as he is, he checks every box. And again, to go 9 weeks and have 21 touchdowns and only 1 interception, what we saw against Dallas and San Francisco in the playoffs, guys, was not a fluke. He played great, and the sky is the absolute limit.
He played great, and Dallas also played horrendous. And so does that qualify him as a top 5 quarterback, Bart Scott?
Listen, I don't know if he's the best quarterback within the division. I think, Jared Goff has a lot to say about that, and I think the division still goes through the Detroit Lions, who I think had a tremendous offseason. Jordan Love, listen, it's tough whenever you see quarterbacks getting their first start. I say this all the time, especially as a defender. You don't know what to expect, right? You don't know what they do well, what they don't do well. Now we have a huge sample size, and defenders and defensive coordinators are breaking him down to see what he does well, and they're going to force him to fight left-handed. And so when you think about C.J. Stroud, you think about Jordan Love, I have to wait and see before I decide where I will put them as far as the pecking order in the NFL. It started off great, but we've seen guys they don't call it the sophomore slump for a reason, right? Because can you adjust to the adjustment, and can you have a counterpunch when teams figure out what you don't do well and they force you to do that more often than not. He's got a tremendous start. He learned behind Aaron Rodgers. And listen, this is one of the youngest teams with a bright future, but I'm not ready to crown him yet. If you want to crown him, you can crown him, Mike T. I'm not doing it.
1 yes, 1 no. RV3, what do you think?
Shay, listen, Jordan Love is not a top 5 quarterback, and I'm going to look at this holistically because I understand where Mike T is coming from. He's saying if you're starting a team, is there more than 5 guys that you would take before you take Jordan Love because of his age, because of how he finished the season last year? And the answer to that is yes. I would still take 5 guys before I take Jordan Love. Now, if you're talking about even in a top 10 respect, listen, there's 10 quarterbacks right now that are ahead of Jordan Love from even getting into the top 5, and Jalen Hurts isn't one of them, and he's trying to get himself back into the top 10, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Mike T, I got to say this, man. If 9 weeks is all it took to crown somebody, I'd be in the Hall of Fame, okay? I'd be in the Hall of Fame because I had a hell of a rookie season. The advantage that Jordan Love has over me, because we both play in the same offense. Matt LaFleur was my quarterback coach when I was in Washington. So we played in the same offense. He has the advantage because he's not coming off of an injury from the year that he had. So he can have exponential growth over the course of the next 4 to 5 seasons. But I'm not taking him over Patrick Mahomes. I'm not taking him over Lamar Jackson. I'm not taking him over Josh Allen. I'm not taking him over Joe Burrow. Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, the list goes on and on. There are 10 guys ahead of him. I love his game just as much as Romeo Doubs does, but he's not there yet. He can potentially get there, and I think at some point he will.
Okay, so we kind of talked earlier about the whole top 10 list and stuff like that, and what I really wanted to do here more than anything is not so much try to sell the point as to why he is a top 5, right? Not necessarily present that he is absolutely, that Jordan Love is absolutely a top 5 quarterback, or that Jordan Love absolutely is the number 2 apparently quarterback in the NFL. It's more to say, can you make the argument that he is, or why do we believe that he maybe can become that, right? Like what will he be in this next season, this coming season? And to me, one of the biggest things that stands out with Jordan Love more than anything, because when we see these players and we look at their stats, stats are stats, right? And you guys know this. I say this all the time. Stats only mean so much to me, right? You have to really watch the film. You have to really watch the games. You have to see how this all unfolds, because you could look at the box score for the Cowboys versus Packers game and say, wow, Dak Prescott threw for 1,000,000 yards and touchdowns. Look at that. And no one in their right mind who watches that game thinks that Dak Prescott even played remotely a good game. And quite frankly, even Jordan Love's box numbers doesn't really show just how brilliant that game was of him. So we could say that the Cowboys played bad and Jordan Love played good, but it was a combination between Jordan Love playing amazing and making the Cowboys look bad, as well as the Cowboys not playing great. But make no mistake about it, they didn't play great because of the Green Bay Packers, because of Jordan Love, and other factors, of course, as well. But with all that said, we can look at Jordan Love and see some of the amazing things that he can do, his accuracy, his arm, his processing speed. But to me, more than anything, that makes me feel more comfortable saying that we can put Jordan Love at the top, or that we can say, hey, if I have to draft someone right now, and it is a kind of a fun thought experiment, because you're like, well, look what Lamar Jackson has done. He's a, two-time MVP. We know that there's proof of that. We don't have that proof in Jordan Love. But if you had to pick, if you had to be like, I don't know what these careers are going to be, do I lean towards maybe the potential of Jordan Love, or do I go with what I know and say a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, whoever, Joe Burrow? And the argument that you can make with Jordan Love is his decision making, that I think really separates him from a lot of these other quarterbacks. Yes, you could maybe say that Lamar Jackson can do a little bit more on the field, or maybe a lot more on the field, depending on how you want to look at it. But I think it's inarguable that Jordan Love makes better decisions on the field, right? He takes care of the ball more. He does have a better pocket presence. I do think he reads defenses better. And again, it's not to say that he's better than Lamar Jackson, or will even be better than Lamar Jackson. It's just to present that, like, why are people so comfortable saying that Jordan Love is going to continue to go up, while other people are saying, no, he's going to take a step back? You have to look and see what made an individual player successful in any given season, right? And especially these young rookie first or second year quarterbacks, sometimes it really is the offense is just run so smoothly. And these quarterbacks are really just taking advantage of it. They're just throwing to wide open receivers, or they have a great roster with a great offensive line. They have all day in the pocket. Like we see this happen with a lot of these great quarterbacks, or quarterbacks that have great years, and then everyone gets so excited about them and then crowns them. And then the moment that they don't have this perfect bubble around them, things kind of start to regress, or that there's clearly weaknesses in their game that they can't overcome. This is also the benefit that Jordan Love has with Matt LaFleur, because Matt LaFleur, I think, will also help continue to progress Jordan Love. And one of the best things that I saw with Jordan Love last season, which is actually the thing that people said that was the worst, was the thing that was holding him back, I think is actually the best. Jordan Love in the beginning of the season, you kind of had Matt LaFleur kind of try to talk publicly through the media to be like, Jordan Love kind of has to like step up, right? Like, he's not making these throws. He's not doing essentially what we're asking him to do. Like, it's up to him. We're presenting the game for him. It's up to him to kind of just do it. And people could kind of see that as a bad thing. I think it's actually a good thing. And this is why. Where quarterbacks go wrong so frequently, arguably outside of just the pure skill level, outside of that, if the skill level is there, what goes wrong is they do not have a realistic understanding of what they can and can't do. They just don't. So many, and we see this with backup quarterbacks more than anything. More than anything. That's why you see some backup quarterbacks kind of show some flashes of life, and you're just like, whoa, who is this guy? Look at this. Look at the arm on this guy. I don't even know who this guy was. Like, where did he even come from? Right? But then when you keep seeing them play, they then just fall apart. They make throws that you're just like, what the heck was that? Who makes that throw? What are you doing? And it's because they think they are better or more than capable of doing than what they really actually are. And understanding your individual skill set and what you can and can't do is arguably one of the most important and most underrated skill sets you could have, not only in a professional sports life, but in any aspect of your life. If you think that you are faster than that train crossing and you try to cross the train tracks and you're not fast as you think you are, boom, you're done. You're going to get hit by that train. And we see players get hit by the train in the NFL all day, every day. Now, some players, and it seemed like Jordan Love initially, were a little bit too shy. They were kind of like, I don't know, am I fast enough? Can I cross the train tracks and beat the train? I don't know. But the fact that he was hesitant was not fear. People see it as fear. And they're like, oh, I need someone who's fearless. No, it's an understanding of, I'm trying to actually figure out what I can and can't do in the NFL. And to me, it actually shows a lot of humility and a lot of patience and a lot of poise. There was probably some fear. I think all these players are ultimately have some fear, of course, right? Even all-time great Hall of Famers, Tom Brady will even talk about, having that fear going into a game. But it wasn't, there's a difference between that fear and being like, I can't come out of it, and that healthy fear, right? It's healthy to be fearful when you're walking down the street in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning and a group of random people are kind of following behind you. Like, that's a healthy dose of fear. You should be afraid in that moment. And when you come to the NFL and you're just starting off, you should be afraid. You should be hesitant. You should have to figure out what you can and can't do. And I think that is what Jordan Love did. We have other quarterbacks right now who are even playing well, still have no idea what they can and can't do in the NFL. And the best example that I can think of right now is Baker Mayfield. He thinks that he is better than he actually is. And because of that, that ends up hurting him more than anything. And I think it hurts even a Lamar Jackson. It hurts even a Josh Allen. And as you guys know, people yell at me all the time calling me a Josh Allen homer. I think it can hurt Josh Allen. Now, I'm on the record saying that I think the team fails Josh Allen more than he fails them, but you can definitely make that argument. Even Tom Brady has kind of tried to say to him, come on, man, sometimes you got to pull it back a little bit because he does try to do too much. Jordan Love, for the most part, does not do too much. You can make the argument that a lot of these other top quarterbacks that RG3 is trying to say is ahead of Jordan Love, they try to do too much. And Jordan Love, I do not think, does that. And to me, that is where we potentially will find magic with Jordan Love. That you're going to have this quarterback that can do all these amazing things, but doesn't try to do too much. He's not going to shoot himself in the foot. And so that is why I think you can make the argument of him being a top quarterback. But he wants to throw in like Tua Tagovailoa ahead of Jordan Love. And that's just like, that's a bridge too far for me, man. I mean, like, what are we talking about here? Can you imagine if Jordan Love had that roster, had like Tyreek Hill and all of that? Like, come on. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Packers roster is coming along, but like some of those offensive weapons, just the fact that they're already mature and have played in the NFL long enough, like, come on. Let's be serious here. I mean, Jordan and Love and Tua are not even remotely on the same playing field in that regard. Tua is a tier below Jordan Love, and from my viewpoint, it's not even particularly close considering what Jordan Love has done with the team, with the youth that he's had relative to what Tua has done and the level of offensive talent that he has. It is a fun question to kind of contemplate, but it is also interesting to see kind of Jordan Love kind of get this hate. It just seems that, all these quarterbacks so quickly become divisive. They either have these diehard fans that say that they are literally the number 2 under Patrick Mahomes, or that they are not even top 10, top 15 quarterback. And it's makes for interesting conversation, that's for sure. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think Jordan Love is already a top 5 quarterback? Or do you think with what RG3 is saying, where he's not even top 10? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.